Hey there, I'm Alexander Creek, astrologer and intuitive. Welcome back to my channel slash podcast. This week, we're going to be talking about the new moon in Cancer, talking about the astrology around it, as well as a forecast for your sign at the end. At the beginning, we're going to be talking a little bit about just a few astrological events that occur through the week, giving you a little bit a guide to the general energy of the week. If you have not subscribed, you may want to do so now, and make sure that you click that little notification bell so you don't miss any updates from me, because new videos drop every Friday. All right, so this week feels relatively chill. The new moon actually feels pretty good. There are some things going on this week, but I wouldn't say it's like a hugely eventful week. But nonetheless, there are some things happening in the sky that you might want to know about. So first of all, on July 2nd, we have Mercury, the planet of communication, of messages, of the mind, how you think and communicate, moving from more emotional, more protective, more security oriented Cancer to Leo, where it's so we're going from this very kind of clan oriented, very focused on like memories and nostalgia in the past, to communicating with a more dynamic energy, to communicating with a more expressive energy, and being more forceful in our communications. And you may feel that just on a very kind of general, kind of collective level. This might be a more opinionated energy. It might be frankly a little bit more brash, or just a little bit more bombastic in your communications. Right away on the next day, on July 3rd, Mercury moves into an opposition with Pluto, the planet of depth, of intensity. I said so depth, like DEPTH, but also death, DEATH. So whenever Mercury and Pluto are in some kind of aspect, this is really kind of the aspect of like getting to the bottom of something, or really kind of like if you need to have it out with someone, or if you need to get to the bottom of something or investigate something, this energy might prompt you to do so. This is really a no bullshit kind of energy. It's sort of like, look, we have this issue. Let's get to the bottom of it, and how can we solve it? Because it is an opposition, they are opposite signs. This could be kind of like a conflict of a conflict between someone, or a conflict between you and someone, like intellectually. This is very kind of two people butting heads. It doesn't have to be a conflict with someone, though. The general energy could really just, you could be really kind of going into research mode, or like, really kind of, because Pluto is about depth in the underworld. And this is really sometimes a Mercury Pluto opposition can just be good at like, finding information around hidden or secret things. So that's the energy that is maybe how you might want to utilize that energy. And I will say the energy of Mercury and Leo, once it passes this opposition, and I would like maybe give it a couple days, Mercury might lighten up. But the energy around communication, around research in the mind, might feel really intense around July 3rd. So that same day, we have a trine, so a more of a flowing, harmonious aspect between Venus, the planet of love, beauty, relationships, value, and worth, with Saturn, the planet of structure, of limitation, of order. Both of these planets are in fire signs, or excuse me, are not fire signs, are in water signs. So this is a trine from Venus in Cancer. And Venus in Cancer is about like, let's get together and spend quality time. Let's spend time with family. Let's look through old family photos. Let's connect, like emotionally. Let's nurture one another. And it's making a trine to Saturn in Pisces, another water sign. So anytime that we have a trine between Venus and Saturn, this is kind of like, this might bring through the energy of maybe like reinforcing a commitment that you might have. Let's say this is about, because Venus can represent relationships. This can be like realistically assessing the status or value of a relationship. And it can be like, look, we've been kind of free flowing this situationship, whatever. It might turn into more of like a committed relationship, where you might be having conversations around that. It's sort of like there's a harmony between like responsibility, structure, things that last a long time, and like relationships and things that bring you pleasure. Like this is, this could be a time when you're like, I'm just going to spend some time kind of working, spend some time like improving quality of life in my home, because we're talking about Venus and Cancer, which is home and family and nurturing things. and Saturn, which is like, okay, let's take care of that foundation. Let's make sure things are sort of operating correctly. So these two are working in harmony, and it's sort of like it brings a stability, or just kind of taking a very clear-eyed look at Venus things, at love, like at things connected to love, to money. It could be this could be a day where you could be really sort of realistically assessing finances as well. So things like finances, relationships, and things that bring value and beauty into your life, you're going to be looking at them in a very realistic way and finding a way to sort of bring more structure to them in your life. So finally, I guess not finally, I have two more aspects to talk about. On July 5th, the same day as the new moon, which we will talk about after this portion, we have a sextile, so another harmonious aspect between Mars, the planet of action and energy and will, with Saturn, the planet of limitations, of delays, of structures, of things that last a long time. This, July 3rd, July 5th just really feels like some energies where we can sort of tap into sort of more of our adult selves, because this Mars sextile aspect on July 5th is good for patience. It's good for follow through. It's good for like tackling a project that is difficult or that requires a lot of effort. This energy is really kind of helps to give like the will to follow through on something. Or this is generally like a good time to take effort on something that will provide more security and longevity. So, if there's a project that requires patience or that requires a lot of effort, let's say like around your home or in your business or at work or something, this is a harmonious energy to be able to tap into the energy of like, I don't really want to do this, but I feel like I like this. It's like I have the willpower today to just power through it and get it done. That's kind of what it is talking about to me. This is not really the energy to rush into something or to rush through something. Mars in Taurus, because Mars is in Taurus right now, moves a little bit slower. But nonetheless, Taurus is the bull that like plows the field and like gets all the work done. So again, not a super sexy energy, but it's going to give you the willpower to kind of get something done around July 5th. Lastly, we have on July 6th, we have Venus in Cancer. We'll be making a square, so a more dynamic but challenging aspect to Chiron, the wounded healer. Chiron is this strange planetary body in our solar system. I can never remember if it's like if it's a comet or an asteroid. It's like somewhere in the middle. But Chiron represents kind of like the wound that you cannot heal from, or represents like at least it represents sort of like what you need to heal from in your natal chart. And Chiron in the sky is sort of like this pain point that we're all kind of working through. And with Venus square Chiron, there can certainly be an energy around like healing things in relationships or healing things connected to like family, because it is Venus in Cancer. Or there might be themes coming up around like, and again, this might pass you by and you may not feel it, but let's say that you have a lot going with Aries and Cancer in your birth chart. You may want to pay attention to this energy. I forget exactly what. Let's look and see exactly what degree it is, because I forgot to write that down. It should be around. Okay, so it is going to be about. You'll want to pay attention to like 23 degrees of Aries and Cancer in your chart. If you have something close to it, you might feel this a little bit more. But again, you may notice what you need to heal from in relationships, or you may encounter some kind of pain point, or there's just something emotional around relationships, around family, and like a sense of belonging with this Venus square Chiron aspect. So let's go ahead and talk about that new moon in Cancer now. All right, so let's talk about this new moon in Cancer. So this is kind of it looks like a lovely new moon, to be honest. I feel like lately it's just been really dramatic new moons and full moons, and this one just feels nice. So this is obviously a new beginning for the moon, a new lunar cycle. It's a time to plant seeds, to set intentions if you want. And I honestly think just kind of like a more restful and kind of nourishing energy kind of comes from this new moon in Cancer. So And then obviously you may feel a new beginning in the Cancer portion of your chart. We all have Cancer in our chart somewhere. Even if your little grid on your astrology app doesn't say you have anything in Cancer, you have Cancer in your chart. And I will tell you where that is when I talk about the rising sign horoscopes for the signs. So first of all, this new moon in Cancer, the sun in Cancer, a few days before the new moon was exactly squaring the nodes, which means it's making a 90-degree aspect to the north and south node. The north and south node are these really strange points in the zodiac, in astrology, that have to do with like kind of where we're going and what we're letting go of things that we gain and things that we lose and let go of. And the nodes are connected to where we have eclipses. So this new moon may connect back to the eclipses that we had in Libra and Aries this spring. So there may be decision points that you are making, or this new moon may be an evolution of, let's say that let's say the solar eclipse in Aries was in your 6th house of health and work. You may have an evolution point with this new moon in Cancer that kind of calls back to like, hey, I'm ready to take a step forward in work projects, or I'm ready to take this sort of step forward in like my health or health routines or something like that. So there is a little bit of this sort of faded eclipsy energy with this new moon in Cancer. However, otherwise, it does feel pretty harmonious. This new moon is going to be co-present, meaning it's going to be in the same sign as Venus, that planet of love and beauty and harmony and relationships and value. Venus is in Cancer right now. So this is a feeling of, there's an extra feeling of nurturing and I think nourishment with this new moon, because first of all, the moon is in her own sign. The moon rules Cancer. The moon is very much at home in Cancer. The moon is able to do what the moon wants to do, which is to nourish, which is to help connect us to emotional safety, which is to connect us to our roots and kind of where we come from, is very much kind of a part of this energy, and may point out where we find security, where we find nourishment, and where we feel like we are at home. And then I think this new moon is going to help us really be able to connect in with that energy. So there may be literal things for you going on with home and family and where you come from and feeling nurtured, but it's also just how you nourish and nurture yourself is definitely going to be a part of this energy. This new moon is also going to help us connect to relationships that can really nurture and satisfy us. I'm not just talking about romantic relationships, but family relationships, friend relationships, any relationships in our lives that give us that feeling of home and safety and unconditional love. There is this feeling of being able to connect to that. And, Cancer energy is like, having a hot meal at the end of like a long day of travel. Having like a fresh bed made for you while you're in the middle of this journey. And I feel like with Venus in Cancer being connected to this new moon, it does really feel like that kind of energy of having some pleasure connecting to family memories, or, looking at kind of where you came from, or connecting to creativity, just connecting to heart and flow. Does feel like this is a theme to this energy. We have that Mars Saturn sextile going on during this new moon as well. So, and this new moon will be making harmonious aspects to that. So there is also some energy around this new moon, not really of like, there's energy around this new moon of maybe taking action that will bring you some more stability and security in some area of your life. It doesn't necessarily feel like I'm going to go run a marathon and get a bunch of stuff done. It feels like, let me pull these weeds and get my lawn mowed really quickly. Or let me just sort of tend to my garden, or let me sort of channel some effort into something that may bring me nourishment and fulfilling and kind of homey kind of energy. So there is that. So there is that kind of feeling of like, you're going to be aware of your responsibilities. But you're also going to have the energy to sort of take action on those things in a way that feels more harmonious, essentially. So that is the new moon in Cancer. Let's talk about what it means for each sign. Let's talk about the new moon for the signs. So this is going to be more accurate for you if we are talking, if you are reading for your rising sign or your ascendant. It's two words that mean the same thing. For that, you're going to need to have an accurate birth time. If you have that, you're going to want to calculate that online for free. You can do so at astro.com or astro-seek.com. I left links for both below. And yeah, otherwise, if you don't have that, just listen for your sun or your moon, whatever resonates more for you. So first of all, let's talk about Aries. So Aries, we have the new moon in your fourth house. So this could be something new or a time for new beginnings connected to where you are living or your residence. It could be a time for you that you sort of reach deep and you are connecting to, like, you could be maybe starting some like an ancestor veneration practice, or something that sort of connects you to your past and where you came from. This could just be a nice time about like nesting and nurturing, or connecting to or something like new connected to your family, or again anything with home. So it just feels very like major kind of Cancer energy for you. For Taurus, this is a new moon in your third house, so this could be maybe you're starting some sort of new communications project. Maybe there's something new connected to like daily rituals. So this could be your daily journaling or your daily card pull. It's sort of given new life, or maybe you want to start like a new routine where you are connecting to that. Especially just because Cancer is this low-key kind of mystical energy. So it might be a time for you where you may want to be journaling and connecting to sort of what is going on really kind of in your mind. It could be a time that you are sort of learning or studying something new or taking a class. It could also be a time of that maybe you are planning some kind of like trip, or maybe there's something new also in your commute, because third house is your daily rituals, your commute, and anything with like transportation. So it tends to be a very busy sector of your chart. You may also hear news connected to a sibling or an extended family member as well, because the third house rules these things as well. So for Gemini, this might be a time that you are kind of maybe wanting to find some new income, or that you are wanting to stabilize something going on with your money and with your income, because this energy is about, because Cancer is about security, right? And it's about like, making sure that we have all the things that we need. So it could be that you are trying to establish more security for yourself in your financial life. So this could be anything from, bringing through a new source of income. It could be that you are going after a new way to make money. It could be that you are making money with something connected to family. But either way, there is a new beginning or like a reset going on for you with anything connected to your resources, your money. And also, this is a time that you may want to, you may just be like realizing stuff about your own worth and your own value. Maybe you are worth more than you actually think you are. For Cancer rising and Cancer sun and Cancer moon, whichever, this is a new moon in your first house. So this is more of a personal new beginning for you. This is like essentially this is your happy birthday Cancer kind of energy. So especially if you have Cancer rising, this is a time to sort of see yourself in a new light, to take on new ventures and new projects, to sort of begin your kind of yearly new era. There could be also like a reset going on in relationships for you as well, because relationships is the opposite sector of this chart, and there is a lot of energy going on in the Capricorn sector of your chart, because we have 2 full moons there within a 30-day time span. So this feels like a sort of personal new beginning, a personal new. It could be anything connected to also like the way you look, your appearance, the way that you approach the world. It just feels like it feels like a really nice, nourishing, safe landing for you to sort of go out and do new things, or to see the world in a new light for Cancer. For Leo, we have a new beginning going on in your 12th house. So this is, if you're Leo rising, Cancer season can feel kind of peculiar. I cannot say that word, peculiar, because this is sort of like this is like the time sort of that you're cocooned, that you're sort of in your sort of chrysalis, because Cancer season for you is really a time of dealing with more hidden things, with dealing things connected to the subconscious or to sort of what is just what is in the sort of hidden layers of your energy. So this is, I would say, kind of more of a sort of private regeneration time, more of a time connected to rest and retreat, and maybe some time even spent alone, frankly, or spent that or time spent where this is sort of like quiet meditation time is sort of what it's kind of giving to me. It also could be a new opportunity connected to things that's to something that is going on in the background or that is hidden from view to others as well. But either way, this feels like quiet retreat, mental health, spiritual health kind of energy. And when Leo season begins, it's when you can kind of truly emerge, essentially. So there's hidden treasures for you with this new moon. For Virgo, this new moon is happening in your 11th house. So this is actually going to be connected to, it could be a time that you're nourishing something connected to a goal that you want, or that you are nourishing something connected to like your greatest desire right now. Like you are trying to manifest that and bring that into your life, or maybe you have clarification on whatever this new goal is. It could be, there might be like a coming together, with like-minded people, or people who you would consider colleagues, or people that are kind of like that might be in a professional network. It might be a time that you are wanting to establish connections with new friends, or that you are just sort of wanting to reestablish connections with your friend group, essentially, because the 11th house is about your hopes and wishes and goals for the future, but also about like-minded people that are helpful to you and friends and colleagues. So there's something new going on with this portion of your chart. For Libra, the new moon is falling in your career sector. So that you might be nourishing and nurturing something new within your career, or the way that you are sort of seen by the public in your public reputation. Often 10th house is career, but sometimes it can be like something about your public state, about your public status. But for you, this is this really may have to do with like focusing on your career goals and what you are achieving and what is sort of driving you. This is a very kind of public achievement kind of oriented sort of new moon for you. And again, it's sort of like, what are you doing to sort of nourish or nurture that, essentially? Especially because you have Venus in this same part of your chart. So it could be that you are attracting the help of maybe benefactors, or maybe people in authority. They might be actually willing to help you, or that you are seen, or that you are or that you are seen favorably in the eyes of bosses or authority figures here. For Scorpio, we have the new moon in your 9th house. This is something connected to your faith, or something connected to your beliefs and spirituality. So there could be something new that you're starting, some sort of course of study, or maybe that you are just sort of reconnecting to your philosophy and what you personally believe about the world. This is a nice time to begin something connected to your higher education, or maybe that you're working on taking some sort of new class. This could also be a time of travel, of you going to some sort of far away place. It can be in the same country. It just has to feel kind of like a longer kind of trip. It's funny because I'm a Scorpio rising, and that's what I'm doing actually around that time. So I'm actually going to see family. I'm actually going to see grandparents on the Cancer new moon, and they live like 10 hours away, and I'll be there for like a week. So that's kind of my 9th house thing, which is kind of funny. But it can be some sort of new endeavor connected to education, classes, and spirituality. Sometimes the 9th house can also be like publishing or putting something out into the world, like something like YouTube. So yeah, but let me know what's going on if you are Scorpio rising. So for Sagittarius, this new moon is in your 8th house. This is a new beginning, or maybe like a reset when it comes to the 8th house is sort of, first of all, it's your resources that you share with others. So this is loans, debts, credits, inheritances, your partner's money, financial aid, community resources that support you as well. So if you're needing a new loan, if you're needing like a line of credit, if you're wanting to kind of reconfigure your investments and anything money related that is not tied directly to like a paycheck that you are earning, is sort of 8th house money. So this is a good time to sort of start a new opportunity to sort of access that. This could also be a time when because this Cancer energy feels very nurturing and nourishing. This might be a time when this could be more psychological, where you're going through maybe some kind of healing process, or some sort of feeling around safety when it comes to intimacy and sort of dealing with other sort of hidden baggage and sort of hidden stuff. This could be a time when like you and your partner are that you're sort of working through some kind of healing process or some kind of feeling of safety when it comes to sort of intimacy. Eighth house can also, I think, represent occult things or things that are hidden from view. Like, let's say that you were, wanting to learn psychic development or talk to spirit guides. I think that can be a new moon in eighth house endeavor as well. So again, it could be financial, it could be psychological, and there's also this kind of occult. There's also this sort of psychic stuff that's sort of hidden from view. I would also be paying attention to dreams as well, because Cancer energy can be very mystical and very intuitive. The eighth house can be connected to like information from beyond. So a really good time to connect in with them. For Capricorn rising, this new moon is falling in your seventh house of relationships. So this is a good time to establish nourishing, nurturing new relationships, or to bring that sort of energy of nourishing emotional security and stability to your existing relationships. So this is anything from romantic partnerships, business partnerships, anything where it's your one-on-one partnerships and alliances. Essentially, it can be seventh house energy. So in Capricorn rising, I have to say you're in the middle of, I think, more of kind of an intense evolution period, because we are between two full moons in Capricorn. So we had a full moon in Capricorn about 2 weeks ago. We have another one coming up in July. So this kind of feels like a more pleasant period. And I feel like any sort of new relationship that comes in now, this is like a really fortunate time to be making alliances with others, and to sort of establish that sort of emotionally nourishing and security building relationships. For Aquarius rising, this new moon actually falls in your sixth house. So anything related to your work, how you go about your work, what your work is about, who you work with, who you work for, the people that work for you. So if you're wanting to hire someone, if you're looking for a new job, if you're wanting something fresh energy at your job, or you're wanting extra work or assignments, this can be a good new moon for you to set intentions on. This can also be anything related to health. So this can be establishing like a new health routine, how you take care of your physical body. Sixth house is really stuff that we have to do that we don't want to do, that is essential for our vital kind of life force, essentially. So a good time to kind of get your nose to the grindstone, and whether it's work or health, kind of establishing new kind of healthy routines. And then also sometimes this can be pets. So dogs, cats, kind of sort of like domestic animals. There can be a new opportunity around that. If you've been wanting like an animal or a pet, this might be a time that you can find like a new family member, because it's Cancer that is a pet, essentially. For Pisces rising, this new moon is falling in your creative sector. So creative energy, your creative projects, what you are giving birth to, whether it's a person that you're giving birth to or a creative project, because the fifth house is also about children. So it can be a new opportunity relating to a child in your life, or pregnancy, or that you are giving birth to some sort of new creative project at this time, or there's a new creative inspiration. It can also be a time when you have that spark with someone, because the fifth house is romance and sex and like pleasure. So this can be a time when you are wanting to, this can be a better opportunity to connect romantically, to connect to someone sexually, or that's something that like kind of gives you pleasure. Whatever it is, this is sort of about like following your intuition here, because Cancer is ruled by the moon. So it's really connected to like intuition and like gut instinct. So I would encourage you to follow your gut instinct with whatever comes up here. But this certainly is a better time for love for you, especially because we have Venus, that planet of love, currently in that fifth house as well. So anything with creativity, with romance and children, kind of gets a boost around this new moon. So I hope you enjoyed this forecast. And comment below, maybe with your big three or what's going on for you, and let me know maybe what you're kind of expecting with this new moon, or kind of what's currently playing out in your life. If you have major Capricorn placements or Cancer placements, I'm going to be taking a look at your chart during the weekly forecast for the full moon in Capricorn. So email me or email me with if you want to do that. I will leave my email either in the comments on YouTube or in the show notes on the audio version of the podcast. And I would love to look at your chart next time. But you'll have to be okay with that chart going up on YouTube, and of course, I will hide your birthday and birth details so people don't know exactly about it. So, anyway, thank you so much. Make sure that you are subscribed, and I will see you next Friday with another video. Thanks, y'all.